Hello guys, have a nice day. Today I would like to explain about my assignment 1, which is about the cost database. The question is asking us about to draw the ER diagram for the RxJet Bank. So this is the questions. This is the study case, and the first question is asking us about to identify the main entity types. For each entity, list out at least 3 attributes and underline the primary key for the entity. Okay, so in here the study case, I have found 5 main entity. The first one is about branch. So this is at the first paragraph at here. The bank is organized into branches. Each branch is located in a particular city and it is identified by a unique name. So in here we can know that the entity is branch, and for the attribute of the branch I write as branch name, branch ID, and branch city. Okay, this is the first entity, and the primary key for the branch is branch ID. Okay, second one is about customer. We can know at the second point here. So bank customer are identified by their customer ID value. So the first attribute for customer is customer ID, and it is a primary key. So the next attribute is customer name and customer address, which can found at here the customer name and its address where the customer lives. Third entity is employee. We can find it at the third paragraph at here. So the first one, bank official are identified by their employee ID. So this is the primary key for this employee entity. So we underline it. And then the next attribute is employee name. Employee name is at here. Employee name, and then employee telephone number, their number, and then the bank also keep track of the start date of their employee. So the start date of their employee. So this is the attribute. For the fourth entity is account. This can be found at the fourth point here, fourth paragraph here, account. It states that bank offer 2 types of account. One is saving and one is current account. In here we can see that each account is assigned a unique account number. So I write it as account ID. And then the following statement also states that the bank maintains a record of each account and account balance. This is the second attribute for account. And the third attribute for account is most recent date of which the account was accessed by the customer. So date of access is the third account for the entity account. So for the fifth entity is about launch. It's located at the last point. In here we can see that a launch is identified with a unique number. So the first attribute is launch ID. From this statement, the bank keep track of the launch amount. So this is the second attribute. And then the third attribute is launch payment. So this is the 5 main entity types that I found. Okay, the next step is to draw the whole entity diagrams for these RxJet banks. Let me see how I draw the entity relationship diagram. And the second question is about to draw the ER diagrams of the RxJet bank. Okay, and also we also want to determine the multiplicity constraint for each relationship. Okay, so to do a ER diagram, first we need to identify entity and its attribute. The second is define the relationship between entity, and the third is to represent the multiplicity of each relationship. So the first one, the identify entity and its attribute, we already done at the first question. The first one is branch, so we just put in all. This is the entity and this is the attribute, so we just put in all the entity that we are defined from the first question. So just put it employee, and then account, and then launch. Okay, this is the first step. Okay, next we want to define the relationship between each entity and their multiplicity. So now the question, the case study for the first statement is bank is organized into branch. Each branch is located in a particular city and is identified by a unique name. So this is a branch and it has a unique names, branch ID, branch name, and branch city. And then the second one is bank customer are identified by their customer ID. The bank also store each customer name, address, where the customer lives, and also the customer may have an account. And can take out customer can take out launch. A launch may be associated with a particular banker who may act as a launch official. So for now, we have to identify the relationship between branch and customer. So this is the relationship. A branch have many customers, and a customer can go for one branch only. Okay, so the next is bank officer are identified by their employee ID. The bank administration store the name, telephone of each employee, name, telephone, and the ID of the employee manager. The bank also keep track of the start date of their employee start date. So in here it mentions about the ID of the employee manager, which means that here got a recursive relationship between employee and employee, which are the manager manage the officer. So one manager can manage many officers, and one officer will manage by one manager only. So 1 to 1. Okay, and here got the relationship between branch and employee, which are branch have employee. A branch can have many employees, and an employee can work in one branch only. And the next is about account. Here the statement states that the bank offer two types of accounts, saving and current account. So this is saving and current account. This relationship called inheritance, or we call generalization, which means that these all attributes will be inherited by these two subclass, and this account will be a superclass. Okay, back to this statement. A customer can hold both accounts. This is methodology because a customer can just select either one or both. So this is also of all. He cannot select other than these two subclass. So we put mandatory here, and all is for the customer can having a saving account or a current account, or both account also can. A customer can hold both account. Customer have account. A customer can hold both account, and a customer can have more than one account. So this is one to many, and this is one to many. So the next is about launch. A launch originates at a particular branch. A launch originates at a particular branch. It means that one branch can originate many launch, and one launch is originate at a particular branch. And a launch can be held by only one customer. So a launch can be only held by one customer, but a customer can borrow many launch. And then the next is about a launch is identified with a unique number, as here. The bank offers two types of launch: housing loan and vehicle loans. Housing loan and vehicle loans. So this is also generalization relationship. For a housing loan, data about the property is stored, such as the address, the value. As for the vehicle loans, the registration number of a vehicle number, the color, the type. Okay, so we write as mandatory all is because other than these two subclass is none. So we just can either select this or either select this. So this is mandatory, and we put all is because launch can be a housing loan, can be a vehicle loan, or it also can be both launch. So we put all at here. So next, continue. For each loan, the bank keep track of the launch amount and the launch payment. So we put here launch amount and launch payment, and the date and amount are recorded for each payment. So we create a new relationship between the employee and the launch. The employee keep track on a launch. So this here multiplicity is one launch can be tracked by many employees, and one employee can track many launch. And here got mentioned the date and amount are recorded for each payment. So in this track relationship, we conduct a new attribute relationship that is stored, and in this relationship it will store the payment ID, payment date for this payment date, and payment amount for this. And that is all about the ER diagram of RxJet Bank. And this is the whole ER diagrams. Okay, and that is all. Thanks for watching.